Hey everybody, and Tony here with a review of the new production of Bizet's Carmen, which I saw at the Deutsche Oper Berlin. The conductor was Ivan Repusic. The production was done by Ole Anders Tandberg. The sets were done by Erlend Birkeland. The costumes were done by Maria Geba. The choreographer was Silke Zenze. The lights were handled by Ellen Rouge. The assistant director was Teresa Reiber. The chorus master was Jeremy Bynes. The children's chorus master was Christian Lindhorst, and the dramaturgy was handled by Jörg Königsdorf and Katharina Duda. I was really excited to check out this new production of Carmen because of the two leads, Clémentine Margaine as the title heroine and Charles Castronovo as Don José. I will gladly talk about their performances much later in this review, but first, my thoughts on the production. Overall, I thought the entire production was a mixture of Carmen combined with Sweeney Todd and Saw, mostly because of the fact that there were a lot of gory elements to be found, especially when one sees the curtain, which basically is a skinned bull, innards and all. And that particular image will be ingrained in my brain for quite some time. Speaking of gore, we even see a whole bull being hanged up on the stage as if to say that this was the same bull Escamillo killed and now it's on display. I thought it was just a little bit too much, and I thought that the production was shoving all of the gory and bloody elements down our throats. So much so to the point where Carmen and her band of gypsies and smugglers are basically murderers who kill people and take out their innards to do God knows what to them. Hence, that's also why I mentioned that there were some elements of Sweeney Todd and Saw added into the mix of this particular production. In terms of the location, it was basically one set. A huge arena where people move around or sit in different places, as if to say that the motto of this particular production of Carmen is either kill or be killed, which also resonates throughout the opera, especially when Carmen has her fateful meeting with Don José. Does she take the knife and slice the palm of her hand with it, as if to say that the man she is seeing right now is not only her destiny, but also her doom. And of course, Don José reciprocates this chance encounter, unaware that his whole journey from being this decent young man to a total psychopath has just begun. So overall, I do have some mixed to rather negative feelings about this production. Mixed because there were some pretty fascinating ideas to be found in here, and there were some ideas that I thought were rather thought-provoking, and at times negative because there were times that the gore was shoved down my throat in more ways than one. As in, we also get to see Escamillo giving Carmen the bull's testicles to show his appreciation for her, and the card scene was basically Frasquita, Mercedes, and Carmen herself looking at all the different organs and innards of the humans they have killed, as if to say that those very innards reveal their fortune in spades. In spite of the few gripes I've had with this production, I still have to say that the costumes looked absolutely elegant on all the singers. The costume that really struck me the most was, of course, Carmen's red dress. She's not the only one who wore that red dress, but also her best friends for life, Mercedes and Frasquita, as if to say that Carmen is not only the queen bee and the big sis, but also the leader of this gypsy girl trio, with Mercedes and Frasquita functioning as her worker bees slash younger sisters. Speaking of sisters, I guess the reason why they wore the same dress is to basically show that even though they're not sisters by blood, they're sisters by affiliation. They're sisters by the bond they have as gypsies and smugglers, and they deeply care for each other. And I also love that catfight between Mercedes and Frasquita when they were encountering Escamillo, and of course the dynamics that they have not only with Carmen, but also with Don Cail and Remendado, with Frasquita functioning as the jolly, jovial, yet absolutely hilarious younger sister figure to Mercedes, Carmen, Don Cail, and Remendado. So I'm not going to mince words here. There were some things about the production I didn't really care for, whether it be the gore or the overall darkness of this particular production, or even some moments in which I thought were really weird. But I still have to say that the style of the costumes looked absolutely great from beginning to end. And now we get to the singers, starting off with Clémentine Margaine as Carmen. Now, it's no surprise that she has been performing this role all over the world, and for that, I have to give her a lot of kudos for everything she had to offer as this iconic heroine. What I've always admired about Clémentine Margaine was the metallic quality of her voice. It has that steeliness, that plushness, and that richness I love in many a dramatic mezzo. And she has certainly went from strength to strength with every performance she was in. She managed to show a lot of voluptuousness, charm, beauty, sensuality, and of course, a lot of great musicianship in this particular role. There was not one flaw I found in her acting nor in her singing. She was an absolutely brilliant star from beginning to end. I also loved how she was able to make Carmen this multidimensional and multifaceted character and not just this seductive gypsy. She really knows Carmen from head to toe, and for that, I also have to give her kudos in terms of everything she accomplished as an actress. She was able to be very warm with the Don José of the evening, Charles Castronovo, to the point where I was kind of rooting for them to be together, but it was not really meant to be, as Carmen also set her eyes on Escamillo, thus further spurring Don José's jealousy and of course his own self-destruction. So when all is said and done, Clémentine Margaine shone like the brightest of stars, all thanks to her unparalleled musicianship, her great skills as a singing actress, and of course, everything she contributed as this iconic gypsy girl. Charles Castronovo was a dashing, brilliant, and absolutely handsome Don José. Sure, he may not have the mega incisive quality of, let's say, Mario del Monaco or Franco Corelli, but I still have to give lots of credit to Mr. Castronovo in terms of his overall strengths as a singing actor. He not only had great discipline and focus, which made him very well known all around the world, but he also had something which made me want to love him, and that was charisma. The charisma that made him all the more alluring and brilliant as a singing actor. And of course, one can never go wrong with his flawless musicianship. And let's also not forget about his chemistry with Clémentine Margaine as Carmen. I definitely felt so much for these two that they were absolutely palpable in their roles. They fed off of each other so effectively. They were able to work very well as a couple, and for that, their efforts were laudable all the way through. Even more commendable was his rendition of the flower aria, La fleur que tu m'avais jetée, in which he was able to sing with sensitivity, class, and style, which made his rendition all the more heart-wrenching. Marco Mimica was a virile and brilliant Escamillo, With his trademark bass baritone slash basso cantante voice, he certainly knew how to strike a great impression on this particular anti-hero slash anti-villain. He had this tall presence which made him all the more charismatic and all the more inviting as a performer. And his rendition of the Toreador song was brilliant all the way through. There was not one vocal flaw I found in Mr. Mimica, and for that, his efforts were not only laudable, but were of the highest order. Federica Lombardi was a strong, gorgeous, and absolutely exuberant Micaela, with her trademark full lyric soprano voice, which managed to ring throughout the orchestra like a seraphim in heaven. She really knew how to embody Micaela with not only the appropriate amount of innocence, charm, and prettiness, but also strength and determination, which therefore made her so wonderful in this role. Her rendition of her aria was so moving and so declamatory that she had me eating out of the palms of her hands. And her characterization was equally well done. She didn't make Micaela a weeping willow nor a total wallflower, but she made her a fascinating character to root for from beginning to end. Tobias Kira was a cavernous Zuniga with his trademark basso cantante slash basso profondo voice. He was able to make the best out of this character. And what more can you expect from someone like Mr. Kira? He had brilliant musicianship. He had this masculinity about him, which made him all the more addicting to watch and witness. And he was able to embody this role effectively with not only great swagger, but also an unparalleled virility, which made his voice all the more alluring to listen to. Thomas Lehmann was a phenomenal Morales. With his cavalier baritone voice and the excellent stage presence he had, he knew how to make the best out of this small character who only appeared in the first act. I cannot wait to see him in more leading male roles, as he has built himself up really well to sing these grand cavalier baritone roles. And for that, I continue to root for him from beginning to end. We also had such equally brilliant singing to be found in Vasilisa Berzhanskaya's lovely and absolutely lithe Mercedes, Nicole Haslett's sparkling and silvery Frasquita, and let's not forget about Jörg Schörner's and Paul Kaufmann's characterful Don Caillo and Remandado. So overall, the singing was absolutely brilliant from everyone. I especially have to give it up to Charles Castronovo and Clémentine Margaine for their great chemistry and for working extremely well with each other. They deserve the highest praise I can ever give to them, and for that they were able to embody their roles splendidly. I also have to give it up to the other singers like Nicole Haslett, Vasilisa Berzhanskaya, Paul Kaufmann, Jörg Schörner, Federica Lombardi, Marco Mimica, and Tobias Kira for being equally great all the way through. And the conducting done by Ivan Repusic was ideally brisk and exciting, even though there were some moments in which the orchestra kind of dragged. The same thing I can say about the chorus. But in spite of some of those missteps, he managed to keep everything together. And of course, even though the orchestra and the chorus of the Deutsche Oper Berlin did show some signs of lagging or even slowing down or not even catching up to the conducting, I still have to say that they managed to pull everything through. So overall, even though I'm not a major fan of this new production of Bizet's Carmen, I still have to give it up to all the singers for a job laudably done, and of course, Ivan Repusic for at least leading the orchestra of the Deutsche Oper Berlin. And for those of you who watched this new production of Bizet's Carmen at the Deutsche Oper Berlin, what'd you think of it? Was there a moment you really liked or abhorred from this new production? Was there a singer who stood out to you so much, whether it be Clémentine Margaine, Federica Lombardi, Charles Castronovo, or Marco Mimica? Or did you feel like there was someone from the cast that just didn't really hold up? Comment below and let me know. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to tune in next time for another review. So until then, good night, everybody.